Knowledge changes destiny. This phrase, from childhood to adulthood, we've heard countless times, haven't we? It sounds very reasonable, doesn't it? But few people reflect on whether this phrase is truly useful or not. Let me ask you a question. What was the name of the first lesson in first grade? Do you still remember? I bet not many people do. Knowledge changes destiny? Knowledge is almost entirely forgotten. How can it change your destiny? If the knowledge you've learned after 2 or 3 years without review is completely forgotten, how can you use it to change your destiny? And have you noticed, throughout history, are all successful people highly knowledgeable or highly educated? Clearly no. Liu Bang, just a thug. Liu Bei, merely a straw sandal seller. Zhu Yuanzhang, nothing but a beggar. Clearly, their success has little to do with knowledge. This will be a longer, more comprehensive content than others. And of course, the value it brings will be immense. I know, your life is very busy. Even so, what I'm about to say isn't easy to absorb. Especially, it's very hard to master. If you only listen once, my advice is keep watching until the end. Listen repeatedly when you're free or doing household chores. Share and save this playlist for your convenience. I'm certain within a few short months, your mindset will grow tremendously, reaching a new height. Ancient wisdom, greetings to all of you. Everyone wants to rise above their status. Indeed, it's a very difficult thing. But looking back at history, Li Ka-shing, George Soros, they are real cases, rising from the lowest class to the highest. This shows rising from the roots is not impossible for ordinary people. But to achieve that rise from the roots, first, you must overcome 5 challenging gates. Gate number 1, breakthrough in morality. From a young age, we were educated in Confucian principles, like the story of Confucius yielding pears. Search on YouTube, you'll understand. It teaches us not to compete for benefits, to be a good child. The end result? We all become poor people with morals. In reality, poverty is certainly not true morality, because failing to give your family a good life, those who are humble will forever lose opportunities that belong to them. The wild ones will always seize opportunities that don't belong to them. I advise young people, before achieving anything, don't make friends with those you call friends. That's just a waste of time. Use that time to strive for your career. Before achieving anything, you won't have true friends. Truly successful people have all overcome the shackles of hypocritical morality. In fact, those who achieve great things, everything is directed toward results with very clear goals. Even in emotions, deep down, there's a gnawing conscience and unease. But to achieve lasting stability, you must break free from the shackles of narrow morality. Let me ask, in the 2006 TV drama Heavenly Path, there's a controversial scene. The protagonist, Ding Yuanying's father, was seriously ill. The doctor said, if saved, he'd likely become a vegetable. Ding Yuanying asked, if he becomes a vegetable, is there any way I can help him pass on? Hearing this, his older brother was furious, scolding Ding Yuanying for being unfilial. Later, when his mother heard about it, she was so angry she couldn't bear it, cursing Ding Yuanying for being unfilial. People say, you raise children to prepare for old age. If everyone were like you, what's there to prepare for? Ding Yuanying replied, Mother, if you raise me just to prepare for your old age, then don't call maternal love great. Hearing this, his mother nearly fainted from rage. This is the most vivid expression of the mindset of the strong versus the mindset of the weak. What is the mindset of the strong? It's making choices based on objective truth, not just following moral reasoning detached from reality. Rigid, dogmatic rules. There's no right or wrong, only thinking that suits the times. If your father becomes a vegetable, letting him go is better than letting him live in suffering. Don't, for the sake of a filial label, make him suffer, burdening your children. That's following objective truth. What I'm saying may be hard for many to accept, but let me ask you one simple question. If consciousness persists during that time, is a vegetative state endured because they want it, or because you want it? Of course, there's no euthanasia law yet, and Ding Yuanying was only inquiring. But the result, he was scolded by his brother. You can see the ideology of the strong and the ideology of the majority are fiercely opposed. The reason for this opposition is the influence of traditional Confucian thought on people, on the teachings of Confucius and Mencius. I've never denied, and in my heart, Confucian teachings are absolutely great. The problem is many modern people, when studying, have gone overboard, blindly worshiping Confucius and Mencius, even elevating it to the ultimate truth of life. This is extremely dangerous. Every type of knowledge is tied to its era. Marx's philosophy teaches, seek objective truth, adapt to the development and change of things, and you must change yourself. The foundation of Confucian teachings was for ancient times. In that era, most people were illiterate, ignorant. Years of endless wars left people in hardship with no money to hire teachers. Moreover, society back then was sharply divided by class. Only the rich could afford education. So, the greatness of Confucian teachings was bringing learning opportunities to the poor, allowing commoners to understand basic principles of being human: morality, etiquette, benevolence. These basic moral lessons, in today's era of universal education, children start learning in kindergarten. We start learning moral education from kindergarten, studying for over a decade. Isn't that enough? Must we spend our whole lives just learning how to be human? In ancient times, it was an agricultural society. Farmers had only one destiny in life: to farm. In such circumstances, learning morality, etiquette, benevolence, and human principles was considered high knowledge. But this era is different. Today is the commercial era. Everyone has a chance to break through. If you still only learn those basic principles as your guiding compass in this era, it's far from enough. To make a delicious dish, you need water, but also salt, right? I'm not denying water, but you already have plenty of water. Next, you need to add salt. What is salt here? It's the mindset of the strong, learning about human nature, learning about commercial warfare, learning about laws. Everything is oriented toward objective truth. For example, if your mother and wife both fall into the water, who would you save first? No need to say. Most would answer, save mom first. Then spout a bunch of reasoning about filial piety. What does it mean to be guided by objective truth? Save the closest one first. But if both are equally far, then what? Many would say, definitely save mom. Otherwise, are you even human? See that? It's all moral concepts, filial piety as the guiding principle. Have you considered objective truth? If your mother is old, in poor health, and your wife has 2 young children, who should you save first? Surely, many would still say, save mom first. Frankly, deep down, you know saving your wife is more appropriate. Because if your wife is gone, 2 young children lose their mother's love. And your elderly mother, saved, would she live happily, knowing her son's family is broken? Her grandchildren without a mother's love? The surviving mother, would she not blame herself and suffer every day? But as a son, you live well because you've earned the title filial son. You've pushed the burden of pain and cruelty onto your elderly mother while you just remarry. But what about the children? Can you find a stepmother who can replace that maternal love? The children suffer, the mother suffers, the wife's family grieves, while you, with your filial title, live at peace. Only choices based on objective truth can see the truth. Not saving your mother, but saving your wife lets your mother pass gently. The children still have their mother's love. You must bear the stigma of being unfilial, endure the pain. In the mindset of the weak, they can't accept that stigma or the condemnation of conscience. So they choose against the law of truth, pushing the burden of suffering onto the elderly mother and children, just to gain a noble title and a peaceful conscience. Is this true morality? Is this true filial piety? This is just hypocritical morality, tangled in appearances. Those who always speak of morality and benevolence, do they truly practice it? Or are they just using fine words to appear noble? You wouldn't go to someone and say, let me tell you, I'm a man. No one does that because you don't need to say it. You already are a man. Why would you need to declare it? But if you're a woman, if you're disguised as a man, what would you do? You'd stick on a fake beard, and when walking, talking, act deliberately like a man, constantly reminding others, as a man, I'm like this, like that. Isn't this like those who always hang emotions and morality on their lips? In the mindset of the strong, they don't value hanging emotions, morality, or kindness on their lips. That is shown through money, actions. Why bother saying it? Knowledge and action united. No need to speak principles. You are the embodiment of those principles. Love, if you have to say it, is fake. Fine-sounding principles are nonsense without substance. Game number 2, breakthrough in emotions. Those in lower classes have more sensitive hearts, full of pain points, call it fragile emotion syndrome. A small matter easily hurts their inner self. A truly successful person, first, must control their emotions. Then, control their behavior, unaffected by their own emotions, unshackled by surrounding relationships. If someone is controlled by relationships and emotions, they can only live in turmoil. Relationships based on emotions cannot last long. Relationships bound by benefits can endure. When managing emotions, manage your irreplaceability. Your ability must be so strong that those around you cannot live without you. Whether you have them or not doesn't matter. They can't live without you. Naturally, their emotions toward you will be as steadfast as the sea drying up or rocks crumbling. You, having them or not, doesn't matter, you won't be hurt by them. Human life is about managing 3 types of relationships. 1, blood ties, parents, siblings, children. 2, emotional ties, spouse, lover, friends, classmates, close friends. 3, work ties, clients, shareholders, partners, colleagues. In different relationships, you invest different time and energy. Naturally, your life's outcomes will differ. Which relationship do you think is the most important among these 3? Most people would rank them like this: blood ties first, emotional ties second, work ties third. Do you rank them this way too? This is the core reason why most people fail in life. Because you've ranked them wrong. Or do some people rank like this: emotional ties first, blood ties second, work ties third? You'll fail even more miserably, because those bound by emotions, their final outcome is only hurt. The more you care about someone, the higher the chance they'll hurt you. Don't believe me? Reflect on it yourself. I rank them like this: work ties first, blood ties second, emotional ties third. Many disagree, right? Your parents raised you, and you put them second. Are you even human? These people only live on the surface. You could call them immature. Why do I rank them this way? The answer is simple. Only those related to our work can bring us profit. Partners, employees, clients. Blood ties and emotional ties are people you have to pay for. Parents need your money for care and medical treatment, right? Children need your money to raise, don't they? Wife, girlfriend need your money to maintain a relationship, don't they? What is love? In the short term, kids understand love as being attracted to someone's appearance. After a long time, they understand love with one word: money. Yes, money is love. How do you love your parents? Don't say useless things like, "Dad, you've worked hard, Mom. I miss you so much." What's the use? The only criterion to see if someone is truly mature is whether they become increasingly practical. No matter how much knowledge you learn in life, if you don't go through the process of earning money, earning a lot of money, letting go of notions about money, whatever you learn, you haven't truly understood. It's just superficial. The essence is everything you learn must turn into cash, into real results. Otherwise, you haven't learned it. How do you earn money? Put work relationships first. Use all your time and energy to manage your partners, employees, clients well. So you say, what about my family? My parents? Don't care for them anymore? Remember this: don't use yourself to care for them. Use money to care for them. Read that sentence 3 times. They don't need you. What they really need is your money. On that basis, occasionally seeing you is enough. Without money as a foundation, rarely meeting relatives or friends, they'll be afraid. They'll fear you'll borrow money. When I was 10, my father was imprisoned. Our family was drowning in debt. All the creditors stormed our house, took all the rice, fish sauce, salt, household items. Nothing left to eat. My mother took me and my brother to her parents' house for help. My mother had one older brother and 3 younger sisters, all living in the same village. All of them treated us coldly. Even knowing we were coming, they locked the door, hid. That's blood ties. When you're poor to a certain degree, everyone around you truly turns into beasts. When you become rich, they turn back into humans, even good humans. You think, I'm too practical and hard to accept, right? Try borrowing money from your best friends, your family. You say, borrowing is fine, no problem. Try borrowing more. Don't try, you'll be disappointed. No one is obligated to help you, especially your family. You borrowing money from them, you're already wrong. Whether they lend or not, they're right. What truly needs managing in life is your work relationships, because work relationships can bring you wealth. When you have wealth, your blood ties, your emotional ties naturally become better. Truly, you don't need to spend too much time maintaining them. When your business isn't doing well, lingering around your wife and kids, clinging to your parents, only makes you more useless. When your business is bad, I advise you, go home less. It'll only make your family more troubled. Eating and drinking waste family money. Especially with spouses, when divorcing, whoever cries louder shows their career is worse. Crying isn't because they can't let go of you, not because they can't let go of emotions. They cry because they can't let go of the economic income. Those with good careers truly won't be sad, because with money, they can buy emotions. When I was young, I heard people say, money can buy everything. As I grew older, I realized that's the truth. All those who think of using emotions to exchange for emotions will end up disappointed, because emotions in the face of benefits crumble quickly. Those who always talk about emotions are surely ordinary people. Skilled people in work and communication start from benefits. Their mouths rarely say useless words. Emotional words spoken are just formal love called fake love. Not talking about emotions, but using real actions to bring benefits to others. That's true love. True love is definitely cruel. Have I said it cruelly enough? Yes, this is true love from me to you all. Only the skilled can feel it. Ordinary people can't understand it, because the time hasn't come. Like a child who doesn't like coffee or wine, only likes cola and soda. You must believe one day they'll understand. Not everything sweet is delicious. Not everything bitter is hard to drink. The way I love everyone, I never say love. Actions, benefits, money, value, let others feel it themselves. Those who can feel it don't need you to say much. Those who can't need you to say even less. Gate number 3, breakthrough in desires. From childhood to adulthood, we've all heard this. The greatest enemy of life is yourself. Why say, the greatest enemy of life is yourself? Because to surpass your current limits, it's not just about intelligence, but also your ability to control yourself. The lower the class, the more animalistic people become, completely chasing their desires. Hungry, eat. Sleepy, sleep. Not daring to step out of their comfort zone. Lazy, procrastinating. Thus, those led by physiology, their lives, cannot be controlled. How can they talk about controlling others? You need a greater desire to control your indulgent, lazy desires. Use the desire for goals to restrain physiological desires. The desire for goals is like Tang Monk. Physiological desires are like Zhu Bajie. Either use the desire to attain sacred scriptures and become Buddha to control yourself, or use the desire to return to the pigsty to indulge yourself. The joy of returning to the pigsty is temporary. The future is slaughter. You decide. Truly strong people rely on no one. Human hearts are very practical. Others ally with you because of benefits, not because they truly want to help you. They love you, maybe for your looks or money, not your heart. Someone helps you because they pity you, because their conscience is uneasy. In the river of life, Some walk with you a stretch, some are just passers-by, some stay with you long, but no one truly stays with you forever, never leaving. Even two people deeply in love, one will leave first. The one left behind is still lonely without support. Truly strong people rely on no one, have no backing, turn themselves into a great mountain. How to become strong? Low-level desires are fulfilled through freedom. This is an era of information explosion. Look, the lives of most people today, short videos, games, entertainment, scandals, etc., satisfy our diverse desires, making people indulge, unable to restrain themselves. However, there's a basic principle of this world. What makes you comfortable now will surely make you suffer later. If someone's low desires are fulfilled without limit, their downfall is near. Noble desires are achieved through self-discipline. High-level human desires like money, fame, power, freedom, etc., must be achieved through self-discipline. All excellence behind is self-torture. Life has only two choices: suffer first, enjoy later, suffer for a while, or enjoy first, suffer later, suffer a lifetime. Self-discipline is nothing but using temporary suffering now to exchange for lifelong happiness later. Ultimate desires are achieved through endurance. To challenge life's peak, you must rely on endurance. You must walk through a dark forest alone, like a seed rooting itself in the ground. In this dark time, you must endure all grievances, unrecognized hardships, ununderstood persistence, unaccepted sincere emotions, fruitless efforts. Those who pass through this dark land can see through human nature, see the world's coldness and warmth, truly become as tough as tempered steel. Endurance is the process of life's sublimation. Endurance isn't easily bearing everything, but silently accumulating energy. All brilliance is forced out. All success and fame are the result of enduring, maturing in hardship, awakening in despair. True strength belongs to those who, in the dark night, under the blanket, can still shine. Human energy is divided into three levels: primary, advanced, and ultimate. How to obtain these three types of energy? Primary energy comes from food. Human primary energy is solved by eating. Food is the basis for human survival. In the era of hunger and scarcity, people live to acquire this basic energy. Of course, we've passed that era. Now, few are in a state of not enough food or clothing. Today, many seek delicious foods. This is actually satisfying a low-level desire, pursuing to fill the stomach and body. However, no matter how delicious the food, it provides only primary energy, unable to elevate one's thinking. Advanced energy is gained from outstanding people. Human advanced energy must be gained from interacting with outstanding individuals. All problems you face, surely 100 books are ready to help you solve. Clearly, the poor are often poor because they read too little, waste too much time. This is the reality of many. The small intelligence in your head is just a few tea leaves in a cup, while the talents of many outstanding people are like an entire tea forest. Many masters, their refined thinking is condensed in books and writings. Not reading is truly a waste. In the future society, competition between people is essentially a competition of cognition. Those with different levels of cognition live in different dimensional worlds. Those with high cognition see those with low cognition like humans see ants. The only way to elevate cognition is through contact with outstanding people. Studying and reading is the best way to connect with them. Ultimate energy is gained from oneself. Lenin said, "When a person begins to reflect on themselves, they step into a great beginning." Socrates said, "The only thing I know is that I know nothing." A person's development speed is seen in how long it takes them to realize their past foolishness. If at 50, you realize you were foolish for half your life, it means in 50 years, you've grown once. If this month, you realize you were foolish last month, congratulations, you've progressed once in a month. Foolishness itself isn't scary. What's scary is not realizing your own foolishness. The most effective way to reflect is to use others as a mirror to reflect your own issues. Ordinary people like hearing sweet words, like children liking candy, but it's not beneficial. Skilled people like hearing harsh words, like adults liking bitter tea, but it purifies. Don't think you're always right. Ego is the biggest obstacle to your success. When meeting someone lesser, hold firm to your thoughts. When meeting an equal, doubt your thoughts. When meeting someone better, reject your thoughts. Gate number 4, breakthrough in perspective. Perspective is class-based. All perspectives you accept are the result of constant indoctrination over 2,000 years. To achieve success, we must break through the shackles of perspective. Why do you know so many theories, yet your life isn't good? Because reasonable things are basically not very useful. Some time ago, I joined a group of PhDs. I found someone was discussing a drop of water falling from a great height. If it hit someone, could it injure or kill? The group got lively with formulas, assumptions, calculations about drag, gravity, acceleration, debating for nearly an hour. Then I quietly asked, "Have you never been wet by rain?" Suddenly, the group went silent. Then I was kicked out. How terrifying when you have knowledge. 99% of ordinary people learn reasonable but not new, not useful things. Hence the complaint. Learn so many theories, but life still isn't good. Because reasonable things are basically not very useful. The 1% of skilled people only learn what's useful, not caring if it's reasonable. The result, they succeed. Simply put, theories are knowledge ordinary people learn. Skilled people don't follow theories. What's reasonable, what's useful? For example, effort leads to success. If effort could lead to success, farmers would be the most successful. If effort could lead to success, street cleaners would be the most successful. Because no one works harder than them. Our parents work hard their whole lives. Have they succeeded? Clearly, effort isn't the key, but where you place your effort is the key. A person pedaling a bike and a person flying a plane, their effort levels aren't different. But after an hour, the cyclist, exhausted, only goes from home to work, while the pilot has gone from Vietnam to China. That's the difference in their results. Can you say the cyclist didn't try hard enough? He may have given his all. Wealth is the ferry, also exhausted. Life's greatest tragedy is working hard on a wrong choice. For example, knowledge changes destiny. This phrase, from childhood to adulthood, we've heard countless times, right? Sounds very reasonable, doesn't it? But few reflect, is this phrase useful? Ask everyone. What was the name of the first lesson in first grade? Do you remember? I bet not many do. Knowledge changes destiny? Knowledge is almost all forgotten. How to change destiny? Knowledge learned after 2 or 3 years without review is surely forgotten. So how use it to change destiny? And have you noticed throughout history, are all successful people highly knowledgeable or highly educated? Clearly no. Liu Bang, just a thug. Liu Bang, a straw sandal seller. Zhu Yuanzhang, a beggar. Clearly, their success has little to do with knowledge. Clearly, knowledge cannot change destiny. So what can change destiny? Ask another question. If you don't ride a bike for 3 years, do you forget how? If you don't ride for 10 years, do you forget? Clearly, for those who know how to ride, they'll never forget how to ride a bike their whole life. Because that's a skill. From this, understand one thing. Knowledge cannot change destiny. Only turning knowledge into skills integrated with yourself can change destiny. Because knowledge can be forgotten, but skills integrated with yourself are never forgotten. What's the difference between knowledge and skills? Understand it like this. Knowledge is the product of hearing once. Skills are the product of practicing countless times. Knowledge is I know. Skills are I've done it, I can do it, I've executed, I keep repeating, doing better. The time to acquire knowledge and skills, the effort put in, the number of repetitions are completely different. Thus, the results they bring are completely different. Clearly, acquiring knowledge is much easier than acquiring skills. And knowledge can be shown off to others, displaying your vast intellect. Those with knowledge are like Coca-Cola, refreshing at first sip, but can't withstand deep tasting. Those with skills are like tea, bitter at first, but the more you taste, the more addicted you become. For example, details determine success or failure. Back then, this phrase was wildly popular. Many business owners kept mentioning it. The result? The whole company, everyone focused on details, finding problems. The more focused on details, the more problems found. A car, detailed to perfection, but if the direction is wrong, can it reach the destination? If the direction is right, even just a horse cart, as long as you keep going, can you reach the destination? Clearly, choosing the right direction, details don't matter. Wrong direction, no matter how good the details, it's useless. Most theories people learn only teach you to be ordinary. Whether managing a business or life's most important strategy, see the big picture, find a key point, and make that point 120%. For example, money is the root of all evil. People often think someone pursuing personal gain is seen as a villain. In the public's view, someone learning to create wealth is seen as shady. All this is due to the shackles of perspective. The poor's world believes money is the root of all evil. That's why they're poor. The rich's world also believes a saying, with money, you can make ghosts push millstones. So they waste no time on things unrelated to making money. And in the end, they get rich. I'm not saying pursue fame and fortune your whole life. But before you have fame and fortune, your goal should be pursuing fame and fortune. Spiritual and soul cultivation comes from letting go after earning money, owning but not being attached. Otherwise, it's just the self-consolation of poverty. Gate number 5, breakthrough in thinking. First, decision-making thinking. Important choices determine your destiny. Life is a series of choices. Some choices aren't important. Dinner, stir-fry, or hot pot. Travel, south or north. Business trip, highway, or plane. But some choices determine your destiny. Stay in your hometown or go to Ho Chi Minh City, Da Nang, Hanoi. Start a business or work for a salary. The ability to discern the importance of choices is a crucial skill. Sadly, most people, when making choices, exert effort evenly. 80% of your life's results come from 20% of critical choices. Most think, as long as they're hardworking and effortful, they can change their destiny. They could do every work detail with dedication. But for life's critical choices, they act hastily and thoughtlessly. My aunt, over 60, when buying a knife at the market, chose carefully, very dedicated. But last year, when someone told her about a high-interest lending platform, she jumped in without blinking. The result? The lending company ran off. She lost a huge sum of money. This is the reality of many. 10 years ago, when you decided to sell your Hanoi house to study abroad, the high degree you earned overseas no longer matters. Because afterward, Hanoi houses increased tenfold in price. 10 years ago, in a moment of blindness, you married a gambling addict. Your PhD no longer matters. Because the latter half of your life will surely be turned upside down by this man. This world is like that. Those good at setting direction always lead those good at skills. Like Jack Ma, completely clueless about internet technology. But that doesn't matter, because he could clearly set the direction. And each person makes different choices, because each has different criteria for weighing benefits and losses. When making any choice, the core is one standard. Cut short-term benefits. Aim for long-term future benefits. If it doesn't bring long-term future benefits, no matter how great the short-term gain, abandon it. Ordinary people always aim for short-term benefits, so they never earn big money in the future. All the wealth you have now, compared to the future, is basically negligible. But cutting short-term benefits, how many can do it? That's why most people end up poor. For example, a classmate from my hometown 10 years ago knew there were no opportunities at home. I advised him go to a big city to strive. He knew it was the right direction, but he couldn't give up his house and land at home, leading to falling further behind. Some women clearly know the husband they married, A lifetime gambler and womanizer has no future, but they don't want a divorce, fearing they won't find someone better. Always calculating short-term losses is the main reason someone has no future. Second, goal-oriented thinking. Don't treat wishes as goals. Otherwise, it's just an illusion. What are wishes? I want to be the richest person in the world. I want to marry a beauty queen. I want to go to the moon. Having ideals is good, but living daily in ideals without concrete, practical steps is just self-deception. We often think of wishes too beautifully, but think of reality too simply. Wishes aren't goals. They're just vague desires. Goals must combine ideals and reality to create a reasonable, practical, achievable plan. For example, I have a friend, 120 kilograms. He said in 3 months, he'd reduce to 80 kilograms and publicly promised his boss and colleagues. He said if he failed, he'd fine himself $10 million. I knew then he'd surely fail because losing 40 kilograms in 3 months isn't feasible. And he himself never thought about its practical feasibility. Sure enough, after 3 months, not only did he not lose weight, he gained a few kilos. Because after a period of hunger, he broke down and started eating heavily. The result? Weight gain. You need to break goals into smaller goals. Divide big wishes into small goals. Turn small goals into actionable steps. For example, first aim to lose 0.5 kilograms in 5 days. 0,5 Kilogramm equals 1925 calories. Running 20 minutes burns 300 calories. So, 0.5 kilograms needs about 6 runs of 20 minutes. Then, in 5 days, I only need 25 minutes daily to run. Third, iterative thinking. The bold often succeed more easily because once you start doing, you're halfway to success. The more you don't act, the more anxious you get. The more anxious, the less you act. It's a vicious cycle. From childhood, we're taught to think carefully before acting. But most of us only do the thinking part, not the acting part. Why? Because before doing something, we always feel unready, think the market competition is too fierce, think we're not capable enough. Then we fall into hesitation between doing and not doing. Only starting gives you a chance to repeat and improve. Jack Ma, when starting his business, didn't know how the company would profit. 10 cents Pony Ma, when starting, nearly sold it off. These people felt they had a big business plan feasible. So they started. How to proceed on that path. They adjusted during execution. We need to plan, but can't just keep planning. After a preliminary plan, start acting. Then, continuously adjust the plan for the next phases. That way, we'll truly be ahead of 99% of others. Fourth, rule-based thinking. In ancient times, rules were often set by the strong, and the rules they set naturally couldn't protect the weak. Though outwardly, they seem to benefit the weak, the purpose is for the strong's benefit. For example, improving pig pens, vaccinating pigs, enhancing pig feed flavor, all outwardly for the pig's survival, improving their quality of life. In reality, the purpose is just to increase pork output. Dare to break the fear and limits in your mind. Dare to leap out of the shackles of your living environment. At the bottom rung, you'll forever be eroded by the food chain. If you only follow rules, do as others say, you'll forever be a follower, never a leader. Steve Jobs' greatness was not being bound by experience and dogma. Thus, he disrupted computers, phones, music, and 8 other industries, creating the great Apple empire. Leaders never follow rules. The essence of innovation is breaking existing rules.